What shoe will I choose to use for the Berlin Marathon? Stick around. I'm going to let you guys know which shoes I'm bringing with me to Berlin. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Runna, your favorite local running community. I'm Juliana, and also I am your favorite local shoe-eating monster. And friends, we are back because we are going to do a shoe-eating monster episode leading into the Berlin Marathon, which I'm sure most of you probably didn't even know I was running because I haven't really been posting much about it because the training cycle has been going what? Bad! Funny how we post about things when things are going good, but when things are going bad, we go a little bit radio silent. I'm someone who I talk about things when they're going good and they're going bad, but I've just had no energy. And that's really the problem. In summary, the TLDR, the too long did not read. Lots of stress from traveling and weddings, good and bad. Anemia starting, injuries caused by the anemia, not realizing that. Tattoo causing cellulitis infection. Many things being a problem because of a cellulitis infection needing 3 antibiotics, leading me to the point of like my anemia really like down, screwing me over. And then now we are kind of in the uphill. We are in the uphill. So hopefully we end the uphill with the Berlin Marathon. Anyone who's followed me on Strava saw my, you saw a pretty obvious like pace change of like 8 to 9 minute miles and then 11-minute miles. And then like, it's wild to me because I ran my slowest Falmouth Road race ever, like I told you guys. And like, I was like redlining it at like a 10-minute mile. Like I felt like I couldn't push any more out of my body and I was like dying. Like I couldn't breathe. Like I felt like I was like pushing every last ounce out of my body, not from a speed perspective, but just like I couldn't breathe. And then like I ran like 8:30s today and I was like, this is nice. So I was like, yeah, this is what happens, Juliana, when you get iron back in your body. This training cycle has been not good. It has been the bad, very bad day, blah, 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 that book that we all read as kids. And I don't feel prepared. I don't feel prepared. I did do like 3 or 4 like 20-mile long runs, but like, I don't feel prepared. I also fully understand that I'm someone who shows up to the starting line, like Ben said in my 50K kind of recap, that I felt undertrained, but everyone else at the race who was started there probably was way less trained than I was, and I was actually way more sufficiently trained than literally anyone else who showed up. Just because I like to be over-prepared and not under-prepared, so me showing up to the starting line being like, I only did like 3 20-mile long runs, and I was only running like 60 miles a week the last couple of weeks. Most people are like, Juliana, that's a lot. And I'm like, but for me, it's not. And so like, I don't know. I don't have confidence. Because of all my weird body issues, I have a hard time having confidence in my body. I'm so sorry, but this is just where we hang out, my friends. So this training cycle has gone bad, but you guys are here to figure out what shoes I'm bringing with me to Berlin. Guten Tag, hello. And that was a deep cut for anyone who's ever played the Madeline traveling passport computer game back in the 1990s. I'll see if I can find an image of the guy who, when you get to Germany on the train, because Madeline is from London, and you take this train, and he gives you chocolate, and you show up at the train station. It's kind of like all those other classic 90s game where the NPCs only have like one line that they say, and so you show up in the train station, and he goes, Guten Tag, hello, and so like that. That's something that lives rent-free in my brain forever because I played that game so many times. So many times. But now that we've steeped into the lore of Juliana's brain and we understand that her training cycle has not gone great. And my main thing the last couple of weeks when I've been like bouncing back from all of my injuries and my iron deficiency and like everything else that's going back or wrong in my body, or just like causing some kind of challenge, you know, I have been very stability focused and also using things that I know work well for me. So I have 2 shoes that I'm bringing with me to Berlin. I have one shoe that I think I'm probably going to like risk it and run a marathon in. I haven't even done like a longer than like 12-mile long run in this shoe, but this is my 3rd pair of this shoe and I really like this shoe and I think it's like a good shoe. And then we're going to bring in the tried and true shoe that like can do no wrong. which I think a lot of you know where I'm going with that. So let's start off with what the shoe is. I think is actually going to be my backup shoe, which is probably my favorite shoe of all time. Are you ready for it? Let's say it together. Puma Deviate Nitro 2. A fresh pair too. I've only put one run in these. So I'm bringing a like largely fresh, brandy new, fresh pair of these bad boys with me. This is like my 6th pair of the Puma Deviate 2s. So, and this is just their partially carbon plated, technically like super trainer shoe that they have. But I love this shoe. I ran my ultra marathon in it. I ran my road marathon in it. Like I said, this is like my 6th pair of these shoes. These shoes can do no wrong. They can do no wrong. I know that if I get like in a zone where I'm having decision fatigue, I'm worried about things, and I don't want to put on a new shoe for my race, this is where I can land and I will mentally feel cradled. This is a shoe that has like the good Puma grip on the bottom. So if it's kind of like a little bit wishy-washy going through those water stops, I should be just fine. And it's, again, this is a shoe I've used so many times. This is my favorite. It has to be my favorite shoe of all time. I've sung this shoe's praises so many times already in this channel. Anyone who saw this video probably already guessed that this was going to be my main leading lady this time. This is the shoe I was considering the highest to bring to Berlin. But, joke is on you, because it's not. It's not. It is still my favorite shoe of all time. And I did buy a fresh pair just for this, because going into this marathon training cycle, I was thinking that this would be my top pick for me. So I was like, oh, let me buy a fresh pair, because this is technically the back model, because they're on the 3 right now, which I don't like the 3. The 3 has a really pointy toe box. I don't like it. I like the 2. And they made the lugs a lot, like, they like took away the lugs. So you can't use it as a trail shoe as well anymore. That's a bummer. But this is going to be my tried and true. I'm bringing this shoe with me. I know that if I get in a bad mental space, this is the shoe that I can like rely on. I will be fine. It will be good. It's a nice time. Waiting in the wings, but not really, because she's had her swan song and her, I don't know if that's what I was going for. She's had her moment in the spotlight potentially. I don't know. But what is the number one shoe that Julianne is thinking about bringing? Well, thinking about running it. Never mind bringing. I'm bringing it with me. Thinking about running in for the Berlin Marathon, and that is you probably guessed the brand, Puma ForeverRun Nitro 1. This is Puma's flagship stability shoe. This is a shoe, this is a men's 8. I wear men's 8 exclusively in Puma shoes because they run what? Narrow. But this has a very interesting rubber coverage, but this is still all continental like style rubber. It's the Puma grip, but it's the same as like the continental rubber, essentially, just their composition of it, their formula. But it's got a bathtub style foam in it. We've done a full review of this shoe before. That's what this is underneath. There's kind of like a casing of foam, which is this foam, and then there's a squishier foam on the inside here that you can see through these like weird teardrops. I don't know why they did that, but it's like weirdly bouncy. Like you wouldn't think like a stability shoe would be bouncy, but it's like really bouncy. Anytime I wear these shoes, I find myself picking up the pace, and I don't know why, because it's not a speed day shoe. But it's got just enough cushion. It's nice and got a nice wide toe box to it. It's very stable. It's got that Puma grip. It's got a nice, like, good fit to my foot. I find myself every time I put these on being like, this is such a nice time. It's such a nice time. The only challenge with this is it's not plated. But the thing is, I've actually only run one marathon in a plated shoe, and it's been the Puma Deviate 2. It was my last one that I did 26 point true. And that was probably one of my slowest marathons ever. Every other race I've ever run, I've never run a marathon in a plated shoe. That's mostly because my hips can't take the propulsion of how much it like throws your foot forward and your knee forward. And it just like fucks up my hips. So I can't. But like, I totally like commend people for doing that. But my marathon PR stands as it is in a pair of Hoka Clifton 7s. So take that away as it is. I think it was like 347 or something like that, or 42. I don't know. But whatever my marathon PR is, it's in a pair of Hoka Cliftons, a back model. from 2019. So I've never really found much success in like the plated shoes. Like the semi-plated shoes are fine, like the Puma Deviate 2 or like the Magic Speed from Asics. But the ones that have like the full carbon plate and don't weigh enough, like my feet just don't really jive with them, and my hips just don't jive with them, which is fine. But I'm gonna bring this is gonna be my leading lady. I'm bringing a stability shoe with me to Berlin. Isn't that a sick colorway though? I feel like this is a shoe that looks more like intense than it actually is. Like you look at this and you're like, yeah, that's a super shoe. Look at those colors. It's like, no, this is probably one of the most boring Puma shoes out there. But again, very responsive and very bouncy for what it is. And I love this shoe, so I will be taking this. We'll have our Puma ForeverRun Nitro 1s and our Puma Deviate Nitro 2s. Again, none of these are actual like race shoes. This was probably a little bit less exciting than you wanted it to be. I'm so sorry. I'm not running in like the Metaspeed Ray or like the Super Comp Elite 5. And that's great if people can do that. But honestly, here's the thing. Most people are not running like a time or it's more about your stride. Most people are not running in a stride format that actually makes the race day shoes make sense, because you actually have to like hit like almost exactly, you have to run like I run without my hip issues. So you can't have hip issues like me, but you have to run like exclusively on your toes pretty much for the entire race to actually get the propulsion out of the shoe that you're supposed to get out of it. Otherwise, it's actually disruptive to your race, and you probably will end up running slower than if you use something like this, which is formatted more for someone for like a midfoot strike or even a heel strike. So that way you can roll through and you have that correct cushioning all the way through the shoe instead of like the little teeny tiny heel all the way through the back that just like it fucks up your stride. And it just makes you move slower because you're in a shoe that's not formatted for your gait and your running style. I'm more power to you if you can run in a carbon plated shoe and like you can run some PRs. Like, I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. But if you're someone who like runs, when you run a marathon, you know you strike like here or back, I would really recommend just getting a regular shoe or getting like one with like a plastic plate in it if you really need a plate, you know? That would be, have your gait analyzed. Also, don't pay $250 for a shoe either. I bought these brand new, but the back model, they were $50. Brand new, because they're the back model. These ones were $80. A pair of carbon plated shoes is going to cost you $250. I'm not paying that either. And most people don't need that. So unless you're an elite athlete or that very small subset of people whose per foot strike and hip mobility is just such that you can really get the benefit out of those shoes, get a shoe that's comfortable and it fits you. And it's like, hell, just go party pace. Have a nice time. And save some money. This is my recommendations, you know. You don't have to take them. This is just my thoughts. Okay? Great. Cool. Glad that we had this conversation. And, friends, we will check in after the Berlin Marathon. I'll let you guys know what happened, which shoe did I choose to use. We'll do a check-in afterwards, my Berlin Marathon experience, because this is my 5th out of 6 World Marathon majors. Ta-da. 5. London will hopefully be my 6th in next year. So we'll see. My only goal is to finish. That's it. Like I said, this training cycle has been what? Bad. Only second to another training cycle where I had to I was working on my biologics for my ankylosing spondylitis, and I had to drop out of the Providence Marathon down to the half. So that was not ideal, but that has been the only training block where I've ever had this many medical things happen to me all at once. It's been an interesting time. Okay, friends. So I'll see you guys after Berlin. There's plenty of content that's going to be coming out while I'm in Berlin. I might even do a vlog. Who knows? I don't know. But we'll figure it out. It'll be nice. We'll at least do a race recap. I'll get some things. Go ahead and head over. My Instagram's the best place to figure out what I'm doing in Berlin. That's at Jellianna Runs. I'll try and post stuff to run up, but no promises. And we'll get some videos and some stuff up, and it'll be a nice time. Yeah. And any well wishes are good. I also need to record the pep talk, so I'll do that. And we'll have a nice time. Right? Right. Okay, friends. Subscribe to the channel so we can come back and join your favorite local running community every week, twice a week. Here we are over on Runna, doing our thing. Huge shout out to Wellstrong and Fast Pickle for being our sponsors. And don't forget to go check them out. Their links are in the bio down below. And I'll see you guys on the next episode of Runna and Shoe Eating Monster. Nom, 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 nom. Thank you for listening to this episode of Runna. This podcast is edited, hosted, and produced by me, Juliana Coughlin. Brought to you in part by the Falmouth Running Club and the Falmouth Community TV station. If you'd like to connect with us, you can find us on Instagram and on TikTok at runnapod. And you can send us an email at runnapod@gmail.com. And our original theme music was brought to you by the one and the only wonderful Jeffrey Hutton. And keep up the great work. I'm proud of you.